Hello everyone, happy heckin' Saturday. Welcome back to the Inevitable Heart, episode 5 of Band on the Run. And oddly enough, before we went live, we were discussing our band name, and it might be The Dentures. It's definitely not No Teeth.
Definitely
Hi.
not no teeth.
It's definitely not No Teeth. Welcome! If you're new here, this is Heart. It's a really good TTRPG, and there is some body horror. So
It's 3 hours of talking about teeth.
It's a lot. It's a lot of talk about teeth. So I am gonna throw in. We play this game with safety tools, friends. Safety tools. Play them. Use them in all your games. They're awesome. Safety dance is the command in chat to get the link. It's the safety toolkit, which is really awesome. We also have content warnings, so please keep in mind those are things that may come up at any time while we play this game. But aside from that, it is Spooky Month, and we are here to do spoops for you live on the internets. Really quickly before we go around and say hi to everyone, I'm going to say a quick thank you to Roll20. Roll20 is, of course, the resource we are using on screen to track a lot of what we do. You can sort of see all our characters right in front of you and what sort of shenanigans we get up to, and the map right here, which I'm zooming in on for you right now. So yeah, thanks Roll20. Thank you, Jordan, for making this awesome setup in Roll20. But Roll20 is a place you can play games with your friends online. Check out Roll20. Gonna thank Rowan, Rick, and Deckard, the makers of this awesome heckin' game of Heart. They make lots of cool stuff, including this one. So if you are interested in some spooky body horror dungeon delves for your spook month, this is a good one. It's full of teeth, and sometimes no teeth.
Just makes it worse.
It simultaneously has too many and not enough teeth.
Yes. I mean, at least if you're us and you're playing with us, that is the case. And then I think that's it. I was like looking. Oh, for this month, I do want to say I don't have the bar up because I didn't want to ruin our beautiful Heart layout. But for all the month of October, we are raising funds for Trans Lifeline, which is a foundation entirely led by trans folks for trans folks, helping folks in all sorts of situations. There's a crisis helpline. There is a micro grant program to help folks with transitions and name changes and all that stuff. That is so heckin' important. So that's something that we are highlighting and keeping in mind and raising funds for all month. And I think that's it for me. So now that I've said all the things about everyone else, hi. I'm Jess. This is my channel. I go _JG in all the places online, and today, every other Saturday, I get to be Mellifera, your deep aperist, who only has one too many toofs right now, I think. Just one too many toofs. That's not too many toofs. Just one. You know. In my body somewhere. Highlighted.
Not in your mouth.
Not in my mouth. Somewhere else. My body mostly made of wax. Did I mention that? Mostly wax all up in here. And also I have some sort of cursed object covered in wax right now, so that's good too. I'm doing good. I'm real happy. Jess's pronouns are she, they. Mellifera's pronouns are they, them. And I think that's it for me. I've told you enough about my toofs and my boo wax body. Let's go around and say hi, hello to everyone. Next up to my side is Sharon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sharon. Pronouns she, her, and those are the pronouns also for my character, Ochre. Ochre is a kind of a city watch / de facto diplomat for the haven that we live in. She's also, well, I mean, maybe we should put it this way. She has a pair of spelunking Louboutins, so that's kind of the person that she is. But we also broke them recently, so that's going to be something interesting to fix. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. Thank you.
Perfect. Next up around is Sam.
Hello, I'm Sam. I use they and she, and Vantage, our dead walker, just uses they. And yeah, Vantage normally is at home at the graveyard in Baffling Din, making sure the graves are open at the proper time and closing them afterwards. And it's been a busy period of time for Vantage. Missing dog, bone dog friendo. And in the woods. Nothing scary happened last week. It's fine.
Nothing scary ever happens. Just mildly wonderful. Perfect. Thank you so much. Let's go around. Next is Ryan.
Hello, hello. I'm Ryan. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Roa the Witch, who uses he and they. And Roa's had a rough go of it the last little while, taking only a little bit of fallout and having to transform into some kind of canine beast a couple of times to fight their shadow self. But, it's just the heart.
Shit happens. And I'm Jordan. I'm the GM of the game. I'm responsible for all of the living nightmares that my players go through, and also I guess take to bed with them every night. I don't know how much of this game follows you away from it, but we all hate teeth now. That's for sure. Before we dive into this episode, I will mention that we do have a little bit of a way that you can support the stream and the folks that are on it. Obviously, if you can spare money, it should go to the charity, but if there's anything a little bit left over, you can toss it into the Knock at the Door fund, which when it hits 50, every time it hits $50, you force me to cause a doorway or aperture of some kind to open and dump some kind of new scenario onto our players, probably at a time when they really don't need it to happen. All of that money gets divided evenly up between all of our players and performers and stuff here. So, if you got a little bit of cash, toss it in there and cause some more chaos, because we certainly need that. Okay. Episode 5. Everybody ready?
No.
Behind you, the Temple of Sagacity royals, folding in on itself, bits and pieces of it rearranging, everything just, it's as though it's being dissolved and rebuilt at a rapid pace. There are screams. There is yelling. People are running. The elderly sages of the temple are doing their best to get to the path on the other side that leads up to the Temple of the Moon Beneath proper. And the four of you are all in a wagon drawn by a 8-legged beast of burden that was the thank you from the Incarnadine you saved from their serfs the last session. The Incarnadine decided to take a different way to leave as the temple behind you, as the temple collapsed in on itself. But their name was August Byrne, if you want to take a note of that. The four of you lay very low in the back of this wagon as you think back on the events that led to this moment. So we're actually going to do some flashbacks. We're starting with the end here, and we're gonna do some flashbacks to your time in the Temple of Sagacity. Basically, each one of you will get a scene, and we'll build up to exactly what happened. So, just a little bit of a backstory for the Temple of Sagacity. The Drow and the Temple of the Moon Beneath follow 6 principles, the Damnic virtues, which is relating to Damnu, their moon goddess. or moon goddesses, depending on how you look at it. And sagacity, wisdom, is obviously one that's important. But the Temple of the Moon beneath has kind of been warped by the just the heart being the way it is, and everything, all the different temples that represent the different virtues, all sort of have had their methodologies and things kind of twisted. So the Temple of Sagacity is basically a bunch of elderly priests taking turns standing up to complain. It's supposed to be debates, but it's really more just, you know what's wrong with the world today? Like, it's that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of airing of the grievances. If you think of if you think of George's dad, that's what I think when I think of the Temple of Sagacity. So when you arrive, you arrive there bent and broken, out of shape by the events of last session. There is sort of this simple tent city built around it, and then there is just a big Colosseum-like auditorium where various robed elderly folk sit around discussing and debating various topics of the day, thinking too much about all of the thinking too much about all of the different about things that are about minutia. Thinking too much about minutia is what they're doing here. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to start with Roa. And we're going to do this just as sort of scenes. If there's something specific or that you need that you want to get out of the way, you want to happen here. If you're looking to, I know that some of you are looking to purchase things or get some things fixed. That's fine. I'm hoping I've looked at all of the state of your fallouts and stuff, so I think I can incorporate everything. But yeah, just if there's something that we don't touch on that you want to make sure gets done while we're here, then let me know. But Roa, the first thing you notice as you start getting settled in here, I'm presuming that you want to spend the equivalent of an evening here, because you all, I think, need some rest. And the temple has, like I said, some tents, sort of tent city type things, and a shared big tent that has space for people who want to stay and rest, and that kind of thing. So as you're getting settled in, you notice just how many people are writing things down. Basically, every sage has like a sagacious squire assigned to them as well, where they're taking copious notes and sitting inside this Colosseum, which is fairly sparse. Like, I mean, there aren't a lot of people actually debating here. There's maybe, it looks like it could seat 100, and there's maybe 20 people sitting in it at a time. But all through this Colosseum, there's just these young people, Drow and Aelfir, that are just like trying to scribble down every argument that's made, and they've got stacks of parchment and books on either side of them. And one in particular catches your eye. They have sort of space beside them to sit, and I don't know if that interests you, but yes, this place is. There is this sound of scribbling and of notes that is underneath all of the chatter of whatever elderly person is up complaining about bunions or what have you. You'll notice that. You'll notice also that all the priests, like, their feet are almost bloodied, like they've been standing, like they have to stand, and it's almost as though they have to continue debating. Like, it just seems to be part of what they're doing. And so some of them stand on like bony legs, basically, that that are barely keeping them up. So, Ro, what would you like to do in this situation? I mean, in one direction, this is complete blasphemy, right? Everyone is just taking notes and documenting literally everything.
Yeah, Roa glances around and takes a seat and reaches into their pack and pulls out this little leather-bound journal. And I think like Rowan probably just like glances over and just takes a pen from someone because they don't have one. And he kind of stares at the blank page before taking the pen and kind of glancing around once more and then setting it on the page. And they start recording everything that happened at the cave with the strange crystal creatures and the infection. But less of a bestiary and more of a like a wartime letter.
Right. More of a diary,
Yeah.
like a dear diary kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
As you write, the kind of green ink that you have stolen from the person sitting beside you blooms all over the pages in this diary, and what looks like just like ink bleed starts to actually illustrate a few of the things that you were talking about. And at the bottom there is a monstrous illustration of the form that you took.
Mm.
And this is the first time you've seen it. Obviously, there were no mirrors around. I guess you did see its dark reflection, but you know, the actual version of it is not exactly friendly looking.
Of course. Upon seeing it, Ro just slams the book shut and kind of tosses the pen aside and looks around again and a few deep breaths.
Right. The elf you're sitting beside you has sort of been looking at you. They've stopped what they've written and they were looking at you, and they say, "How do you have time to do illustrations? I mean, they just talk and they talk and they talk. I can barely get my shorthand has had to become like quarter the size. I don't know how you found time to. They were amazing."
I um I mean, I'm not. You were watching me?
Well, you wrote like death was going to find you tomorrow.
That's probably a friend of mine. But let's just say it's been a while since I've put my thoughts onto a page.
Well, remember to take breaks sometimes. I don't get breaks very often.
Are you obligated to record all of these
Well,
debates?
my sage is only in his 60s, and so he just has more energy than the others. And so he's just up there more than most. I mean, these are all pearls of wisdom. Someone's gonna want to read this, and I'm doing the moon beneath's work.
These are pearls of wisdom?
These are today's, yeah. And they gesture at the 12 volumes that are around them. He's struggling a bit today, I think.
You can be more judicious with what you choose to record.
It's not up to me to decide what's wise and what's not. I'm just an observer.
I think we should perhaps give some thought to what we choose to put on a page. It should be intrinsically valuable. And I'm not sure that talk of paper cuts and office supplies really qualify.
I assure you, if you went back and you read between the lines, you would garner such insights that you know, then you'd understand why we do this. But you can write your stories. That's fine. There's different ways to write things down.
Well, perhaps I will bask in my own ignorance a little bit longer.
There is like a loud cough from the podium, and the person who's writing jumps back to scribbling, just like a gnarly elderly to get their attention. Okay, we're gonna hop over to Sam. Sorry, Vantage now. Vantage, you've got the most knowledge of like setting up camp, I imagine, of everybody. I think you're our Boy Scout in a way, and the like living quarters-ish area is kind of full right now, and so they've offered you these simple tents to kind of spend the night, and so you're setting those up when you hear a familiar voice, and I need you to tell me who this voice belongs to, as this is someone from your past who has been a bad influence on you. Do we want to do it in a flashback inside of a flashback, Sam? Since we've been doing that for introducing.
That seems great.
Yeah. So, who is someone that was often the reason, especially in the early days of your life of crime, that got you into trouble all the time?
After you told me before we started that I should have done my homework. That's not how you said it. I put 4 names down. Okay, we're just gonna go with the first one. Thank you, Dai. So this is a human named Rabble.
Rabble?
Rabble.
Okay.
Probably not what their mother named them, but goes by Rabble. And when I found them, they're very much like your typical like street urchin, stealing some things, selling papers or whatever. Vantage is from the desert, not from around here.
Right.
So in some sort of city out there. And I think the pair of them together ended up, I don't want to say falling into a life of crime, because I feel like they hunted down the life of crime and then became it. And I think the last time Vantage had seen Rabble, they had like a metal prosthetic arm that was also a gun.
Okay.
We probably stole it from like a university or something.
Right, it's a prototype of some kind.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it seemed cool and they needed a new arm, so.
So Rabble is younger than you?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
And I picture them as being like explosively full of energy.
Okay. There was the last time that you actually spent time with Rabble. Was that likely a crime? Did it go bad?
Yeah, I think it was probably the last heist we pulled before we ran afoul of those powerful people.
Okay. You have a fallout that I'm trying to resolve here, and I think that this is what how we're gonna tie it in.
Awesome.
The flashback is going to be really simple. It's going to be that Rabble got incredibly injured during it. And when you finally got back to your hideout, they were resting. And you were solely in charge of divvying up the haul, the money that was stolen. So you're sitting at a table, and you're splitting it in the middle, stacks of coins piling up, and you're kind of dealing them out, one coin into for you, one for Rabble, back and forth, and then you just reach out and you push the coins together onto your side. And that was the last night that you had seen Rabble. You left them injured basically on your couch, and maybe that was even the last, that was the point where you started heading towards Spire and then the Heart. So what you hear behind you, I guess maybe even before the voice, is the click click cocking of a arm gun, a literal hand cannon.
A literal hand cannon.
Well, Vantage, I didn't think anyone could be more unlucky than me. But today proves just how unlucky you are, because you ran into me.
I think Vantage is gonna, like, lift their hands up and turn real slowly. Right.
So it's a 4-barreled shotgun type gun that kind of rotates after each shot. And so it's sort of like a Gatling shotgun mounted on his arm. What have you got to save yourself before I fill you with lead?
Well, I want to apologize, but after how everything went, I don't think
that's
I have
funny.
the
That
right.
is funny. And he cocks it further back and levels it. You want to apologize now. That's convenient for you that I showed up just in time for when you were ready to do that.
I did a lot of terrible things to people that I should have not done terrible things to. Friends, people who are like a family to me.
Are you thinking that I don't know that?
No, I'm just saying I also know this. I've had a lot of time to think about it. And,
That was my money out, Vantage. That was the last one. That was the last one that was going to buy me, and you, I thought, into something else. But instead you took all of it. You think an apology now, years later, is going to be enough?
no, I said I don't think it means shit.
Then what do we do about this? This gun, the bullets from this gun, you've seen it. Each round, I only need one round to just scatter a man to the 4 winds. But I've written your name on every one of the bullets in this gun.
That's fair.
I appreciate the method acting.
Yeah. Arms are getting tired. This is a workout. Didn't work
Yeah,
out today.
yeah.
Let's see. I think our
So Rabble looks really thin. And,
Yeah.
like leaner than even when you found him. A lot of his more of his body has been like patched up by mechanical means, but not like in cool gun arm ways. More like to stop his innards from falling out. You know.
Yeah, like real necessary situations.
Yeah, but also looking like not done by the most skilled folks.
All right. So I have a fallout where I need to sell something.
You have a debt, yeah, that you
Yeah,
owe, so.
and I have some silver coins, and I used to be Catholic.
Sam did, you mean?
Sam used to be Catholic.
Okay.
So I cannot oversee. I can't overlook. I can't not pass up on giving someone a bag of silver coins.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try for it. Okay. Look, I obviously don't have the money I stole from you. And
I hope the life you lived was good, Vantage, because it ends now.
I mean I already died once. Anyway, I do have some coin that I would gladly give to you. And it's not gonna make up for anything. But it would be a start.
How much?
Like lowers hand very slowly.
And he
Takes,
does the twitchy like
Yeah.
bandit thing where he like brings the gun up, yeah.
Takes the pouch off the belt and just like throws it.
Some of it the bag hits the ground and it spills out a little bit. And you see a look on Rabble's face, like basically like a coyote that hasn't had a meal in months.
Look, I owe this to you.
What your actions took from me, Vantage? What I have had to do because of the decisions that you made? There ain't a big enough bank in all of Spire to rob to pay me back for what you've done. That was my way out, Vantage. And now all I am is just listlessly wandering this godforsaken hellscape. I hope you're stuck down here too. That would begin to repay it. And he puts a boot out and he pulls the coin towards himself. And he reaches down, keeping the gun leveled on you the whole time. With one hand, he scoops all of the silver into the bag. And then just backs away until he kind of fades into the tent city. So you can go ahead and discard the silver coins and that fallout.
Yeah, fallout.
Exciting, I know.
Yeah, coins.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. You also, just for bookkeeping purposes, you've got your darkness
Yes.
miner. So to get rid of a miner, you got to spend a D6 resource at an appropriate place. And luckily, there is a little there's a market kind of trader that can get rid of help with basic supply problems. But you would have to spend your interesting bag of teeth in order to get rid of it.
Oh, great.
But that right now, any exploration you're going to do is going to be tougher since you're Spire Black, which is the Spire Black is the lamp oil / dynamite / whatever of flammable substance of this world. So since it's run low, you're not going to be able to do a lot of delving and stuff easily.
Fun.
You can hang on to it if you like, but
No, I'll probably trade the teeth.
you have a real long, hard think about whether or not you want to keep the teeth, and then you definitely get rid of the teeth. Got it.
Absolutely get rid of the teeth.
All right.
To get rid of the supply stress? Yeah. Goodbye, teeth.
Guessing that teeth can be better.
The merchant squints at them and then opens the bag and goes, and then as if to say, these are really interesting, and then bundles them up and tucks them away.
So does that just clear the fallout or also the stress?
You also have
I still have 3 supply stress.
you have to choose between the two.
Okay, then let's get rid of the fallout.
Okay.
Because we still have to get back home.
If you were getting rid of stress, you would roll a d6 since that's the value of the teeth and reduce that much stress. But it just straight up costs a d6 piece of resource to get rid of a minor, and a d8 to downgrade a major to a minor.
Cool.
Okay. So I'll delete your teeth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on the. I'm gonna put it up onto the GM layer just in case I need it again.
Just in case we need more teeth.
Just in case those teeth come back to
They're
bite
coming
you.
back.
Duh.
Okay. So let's jump over to Ochre. Ochre. Right. We'll let you. Actually, so let's get your repairing out of the way. If you want to fix your shoes, which I know you do, it'll require a d6 resource traded away as well. And this would be less at the market and more at just there's a couple of when the sages, there's a few sages when they're not talking, they're like knitting and sewing and repairing things and listening to the other sages talk. And so they may not look exactly like they did before, but they will be able to patch up the heel of the shoe enough so that they can still function. So I don't know if you have a d6 resource you'd like to trade away. We can also, like, if you wish to spend your something from your bag of tchotchkes, which is stolen goods, so I don't know if you're going to use those. But if you have something that's more than what you need, then we can just reduce it by a couple. So to spend d6 worth of the d12, you would reduce it down to a d8, Haven, two steps, because a d6 is 2 steps up.
Right. I suppose I might trade away the gold boat that we got, the expanding gold boat.
Sure, yeah, I'd allow that.
Okay. Is there anything that I need to roll for that?
Nope.
Okay.
Getting rid of fallout is just a kind of an exchange, as long as you're at a place that can do it. This place does not repair, say, blood stress. There's no doctors or anything nearby, so that's why I didn't offer Ryan an opportunity to do that. There is a mind stress person, a elderly drug dealer, but they unfortunately can't get rid of. They're not high enough to get rid of a major, so that's gonna wait until Baffling Din, I think. So you can go ahead and toss the gold boat. I'll put it onto my DM layer too, just in case. And you can get rid of that minor supply.
Okay, great. I'll just have to paint the bottoms red again when I get home, I suppose.
Yeah, they need some cosmetic love for sure, but the story we're going to tell here, Ochre, is during the nighttime or equivalent, when this place is dark for the most part. It's all lit by a few flickering mage lights and mostly a lot of like candles and oil lanterns and stuff. And they do dim them for 6 hours on a regular bell, where all the sages are allowed to stop their rambling long enough to rest and eat. So this is when the place gets the most quiet. And you are lying in a makeshift cot which is better than no bed at all. And I'm sure the things that Ochre has been through, this is nothing. And the events of last session, I imagine, still are rattling around in your head.
Yeah, the visions that I saw.
Yeah, the old hound, though not physically here like they were last session, definitely you see their face, especially with all of the elderly folk that are around here. All day you've been seeing their face on like the old hound's face on these sages' faces. And then when you focus, it's not them, but their words about how the heart will claim the heart is the only truth, that the hounds are wrong, and to try and fight it, rattles around in your head. And the first thing that pierces these thoughts is a kind of a buzzing sound, like wings, like flapping, like little insect wings. And Malifera is in a tent beside you.
Mm-hmm.
And something that happens with Apios is that while Apios sleep, the bees continue their work. The body is just the landing bay and storage for the bees' laboratories. The bees themselves, they rest, but certainly more efficiently and less long. It's 6 hours of a stupid body sleeping is a waste of time for bees, so they're busy the whole night.
I just imagine like Melifera's eyes are even open during it,
Oh,
just
sure,
like
yeah.
powered off.
Yeah, and if you were ever seen Melifera sleeping, you would see that they have, like, the bees are fine tuning Melifera's body constantly, and those eyes would be open and also be worked on, like they would be being worked on by the bees to improve them and sometimes replace them whole cloth and rebuild new parts and things. And I'm just saying this so that you know that hearing buzzing sounds and things from Malifera's hand isn't unusual, but there are 2 insects in your room, which Malifera is many things, but is not someone who intrudes on your privacy. One of them is very recognizably, well, I don't know, actually, I don't know that, but
I think they would believe in boundaries, whether or not they cross them is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the bugs is in fact one of Malifera's bees, and the other one is one of those plump little beetles that were given to Malifera by
in the jar?
Yeah. And at first you think that they may be duking it out, but there is something vaguely... They seem to be dancing around each other a little bit. Like, there's almost a kind of crooked waltz happening between these two insects. And it's kind of beautiful, actually, because the blue glow of the runes off of the bee and the kind of pulsing red out off of the beetle, they kind of leave like trace lines as they move around.
Remind me again, did the Incarnadine, did Rufius tell us anything specific about the beetles? Just
they would seek out and destroy the tooth if that's what they were ordered to do.
Okay. But if I remember correctly, Melifera definitely hasn't opened the jar, at least to my knowledge.
No.
Okay.
They've tried to get out. The beetles have tried to get out around the crystal. If you remember last session, when they were closer to the crystal, the beetles were bashing against the inside of the glass to try and just break it, throwing themselves against it. So they are like moving all around, and they're just above you now, and you can see the beetle is bigger and grabs onto the bee. And it looks like its feet are sinking into the body of the bee below it.
I'm gonna try to like catch the beetle, I guess, in midair.
Okay. That's easy enough. Its focus is elsewhere. You grab onto it, and this plump beetle lands in your hands, and its feet are sticky from whatever's on the inside of bees. And I should have really looked. I looked up a lot of teeth stuff, but not a lot of bee stuff. So, and the bee is still the marked bee is still sort of buzzing around, almost as drunk. But you can see the blue runes sputter out and then get replaced with red, veiny replacements. Now, and then the whole demeanor of the bee sort of starts to change. It zips. It's like zipping around erratically. You know when you look at like what those simulations of something on a quantum level where it just sort of disappears and reappears and that kind of thing. That's what this bee is happening to this bee. It's popping in and out of existence, and it is just like flitting around with no pattern whatsoever. And so you have a kind of a choice here. You can either get your beat for this, one of the beats for this session, or you can kill these things. So that's your choice.
Well, I think I'm gonna try and see if I can grab the bee in my other hand, although I imagine that would be harder since it's flipping in and out of existence.
Yeah, I'll probably get you to roll a hunt roll.
Okay.
At this point, it will be a hunt cursed roll.
Okay. Well, I have hunt, so.
Okay, so that's 2 dice.
It's a 10.
All right. Yeah, you capture the bee. You can feel it. You can feel it buzz, like zipping around in your hand, and periodically it appears on the back of your hand, and also up your wrist, and then also flying around it. But it seems like in all the simulations of realities that are being run on this bee right now, about 85% of them, the bee stays inside of your hand. And so you see like ghostly images of the 15% of the versions of reality where the bee is not in your hand. Yeah, what would you like to do? You have the beetle in one hand and the chaos bee in the other.
All right.
How could this be?
Unbelievable.
Sorry, Ochre, what would you like to do?
I think Ochre would look back and forth and just kind of like talk to both the bugs and first to the bee and say, I'm sorry, but I don't think I can let you back to Mellifera. And try to crush it. And then to the beetle say, just leave and don't come back. And kind of sit up, walk outside, and like let it go.
Okay. The beetle takes its leave and flies out the front of your tent, and you feel the bee kind of pop in your hand as you squeeze your fist shut. And I will need you to do a endure cursed roll, please.
Boy, I have neither, so that's just a D10. It's a 6.
Okay. A little bit of the energy of the heart, the cursed echo energy of the heart, will seep into you here. 1, which I think you have a 1 resistance, so I think you're fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You can kind of feel. You can kind of feel something pouring out of it that isn't its insides as you squeeze, but then it just kind of gets absorbed into your hand, and you look down and there's just little bits of piece of bee and a couple legs and things, but most of it is gone.
I'm gonna step outside briefly to kind of like brush it off my hands, and also to see if I can see where the beetle went.
As you step outside, it's like that classic moment in the movie where someone who has been on their own for a little while is not aware of what's going on in the outside world. As you push the door, the opening of the tent, all of the Temple of Sagacity is just roiling and falling to pieces and being reassembled before your very eyes. And we're going to jump over to Mellifera for Mellifera's flashback. Mellifera, you wake up. Your body wakes up anyway. But you can't move. You can sort of move your arms, but your legs have the little pilots, the bee pilots that maneuver the legs aren't there. They are the jar of the jar of beetles, which you keep close, is sitting on a little box, like a basically the tent that you had basically a little footlocker in it, and maybe a third of your bees are crawling all over it, trying to patch up a hole in the side. It seems as though while you were resting, some of the beetles had gotten out. And you can see, as you look down onto the floor where that crystal, the purple crystal that you gathered yesterday, or last time we played, more of your bees are redoing the wax covering on it, as something has gotten in and burrowed into it and basically chewed a bunch of the crystal out.
Oh, that's right. I have 2 bad things on my person right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I have like cursed beetles and I have the cursed crystal. Great. That was real smart.
All of a sudden, there is a searing pain in your body. It's hard to pinpoint exactly where it is, but you instinctively reach for your stomach, basically. And you can feel somewhere in there is this searing hot point. As a bunch more of your bees stop what they're doing and just take off out of the tent. And I'll need you to make an endure curse roll, please.
This is very rude. I don't appreciate this at all. Endure cursed?
Mm-hmm.
I have neither of those things. Cool. This is great. I filled up my entire web captioner with just cool, saying it so many times.
That's good. I'm glad it's cool.
I rolled a 7?
Mine says make a ninja curse roll. Makes sense. What'd you get, a 7?
7.
Okay, you take 1 echo stress.
Which
So
I have.
no echo stress.
So
yeah.
no echo stress.
I'm
so sorry.
So this is when you hear the first of like the screams from outside the tent.
What kind of screams from outside the tent? Okay, well, while this is happening, and while I am interested in these screams that you have said are occurring. However, I have 0 movement in my
Bottom parts.
in my bee house body. So I'm going to attempt to call just some of the bees back. Like, hey, we gotta get this thing moving. I need at least a few pilots in here. Like, I don't need all of y'all, but I need some.
I'll need a compel occult or compel technology.
I have both of those.
So you can roll 3 dice regardless.
Yeah. Cool. And do I know, like, because we obviously Vantage set up the tents, because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Am I, like, on the end? Do I know if there's, like, someone on one side of me and someone on the other, or, like...
You're on the end.
I'm on the end. Of course I'm on the end. Cool.
Is that bad? I don't know why.
I got a 5 and 2 9s. So that's pretty good.
A 9 is your best roll, so that is a success. The bees hesitate because they finish the job of patching up the 2 things before they come to you, but they sort of do as quickly a job as they can, and then it's not like your legs reinflate, but you can feel like the warmth of the movement of the bees return to them, and they start you start having feeling in them again, and you start to move them, and movement returns to you.
Can I call to Ochre? Like, now that I kind of do the thing, we flip our legs so that they're just over the bed so that we can stand up, so we're kind of like half, like, we're finding our legs, by which I mean the bees are getting our legs a-going.
Bees are approaching battle stations.
Yeah, everyone's getting into their units, you know.
You're finding your bee legs.
Yeah. Some people have sea legs. No, I have bee legs. So.
So much.
Well, that's one better than C.
Yeah. Right?
I'd say they're probably B+ legs.
Oh.
Does that mean the best legs are IE legs?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start sitting myself up, and I'm gonna just we're gonna start calling to Ochre, because they're the only one near us, to just be like, oh, Ochre, Ochre.
I've like just stepped outside,
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna say this is all now happening. You're all caught up simultaneously to this.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll look around and hurry over and kind of I guess you can't knock on a tent flap. So I will like push like 2 fingers worth back. Everything all right, Mellifera?
The beetles, are you all right? Have you seen any scurrying around? I think that some beetles have escaped, and I'm gonna start trying to find myself to make my way over to the jar. Like, the bees already started to seal up the jar, like they have, or?
Yes, it's mostly sealed up. They kind of they sped up to come back to you by your request. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Ochre is going to kind of close the tent flap and look around and say, I thought I saw one earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Ochre, the sky, the sky above the Temple of Sagacity is dozens of bees and interspersed with maybe a dozen of the beetles that seem to be 100% behind the chaos that is happening, as you can see, like a tent is sort of whipped up and pulled up and it turns into a coniferous tree. Like it's just been completely rewritten into something else behind you. It was a good face, Ryan. I wasn't sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so Ochre, seeing this, is going to just pull open the tent flap and say, Mellifera, they're outside. They're doing something to the temple?
So you're gonna kind of...
I'm gonna try to go in and say, do you need help? Can I get you sitting up? You're missing a lot of bees.
Can I, like, so when Ochre opens this up, I can see the sky is full of bees and beetles?
You hear it. You don't see the sky from where you're sitting, but you hear din of the bees and you can now that your senses are coming back to you, you can immediately detect that there are a bunch of bees that have gone rogue.
And they were mine. They're my bees.
Sure, but the connection to them now is you have one bar at most. It's connecting to the bees that are out there, and they flicker from no connection to one bar.
This should not be happening.
Make another Endure Curse roll, please. As
Oh
the
my.
pain, now very focused and moving around inside
Like where
of your chest.
in like my center,
It's in the you can't be completely hollow because you have to be sturdy in some way, and it's moving around in the thick waxen parts of the structure.
No, we're like our body is like, think of like a 3D printed. You know how it puts those lines in the middle to make sure that there's some structural integrity? It's like that, you know?
But there's got to be enough.
Yeah.
That it's
Oh my god, this is very icky. I mean, I think regardless of what I roll, Mellifera doubles over in pain. So Ochre, you see that? Oh, that was a very bad roll. I rolled 3 dice, and my highest is a 4.
Did you have Endure Curse?
I do. Oh wait, no, not Endure. Oh, sorry, you're right. I was thinking of.
You were rolling. Okay, I'll still accept the 4 because that's probably what you would have gotten with one die. With 1 die. Okay. 2 echo stress.
Sorry. Okay. Is that considering my protection or outside of my protection?
You take 1 after your protection.
So I take 1. Okay. Do I have to roll?
Yes.
At this point? The
D12?
Yep. Oh, this is bad. I'm getting real high. And it's
maybe you'll get a single fallout for the first time.
Oh my god.
So we're gonna obviously at this point the noise and the chaos is starting to go up, and so we're gonna hop to Roa and Vantage. You're both awoken by
I think Ochre would have tried to call out to them.
Sure, yeah,
as
absolutely.
this is happening too.
And so yeah, you both, if you go to your tents, you see basically any structures, there are a few kind of stone structures that house okay, Jess, you're safe somehow. Again, no stress for you. No fallout for you.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm in a lot of pain and I'm very distressed, so I am stressed.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And so the few kind of stone structures, you can see that the bugs, which you do recognize as bees and beetles, are landing on the stone structures, and then almost like a potato peeler, they're just like peeling away the stone on the outside and rolling it off and revealing kind of red flesh underneath, as though the veneer that this place has attempted to put onto the heart is being taken away.
Sorry, are they flaying the buildings?
Yeah, I mean, we could put it that way. Sure. Wait, did you say filleting? Or
no, flaying.
Flaying.
Yeah, they're definitely flaying. Although they may make some fillets.
While they're at it.
Yeah. You know what? Art. It's a game.
Boy.
We're playing a game right now.
Lovely.
Vantage, you're familiar with the area around you reshaping itself. Is this typical?
I mean, my bigger concern is this our fault?
I mean, I have a history of things being my fault and just making a run for it, so...
Good plan. Let's check on Mellifera.
Yes.
At some point during this conversation, you will have seen Mellifera just doubled over in pain, holding on to their chest, their stomach, wagon that was given to you as a thank you is set up just behind your tents that the August Spurn, the Incarnate you saved, gave you. And I would say at this point, it's up to you, but this is where I think our flashback would end with you getting into the wagons and leaving, because the sages are the younger kind of squires of the sages are gathering them up to try and get them moving into caravans and things. As at a certain point, instead of any real form at all, the buildings and everything here just starts melting down into the ground, red pulsing meat just returning to the ground below it. And you can almost see it starting to dig down, just the what's left of it digging down into the ground as if trying to get closer and deeper down towards the heart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to go.
You can try and stick around and do things, but...
No, I think Roa had the right idea there. Normally I run is definitely Vantage's thinking here.
Yeah, help me get Mellifera into the wagon. They're really not doing well, as you can probably see by now.
Can I just pick Mellifera up?
I think so.
If you go to pick Mellifera up, Mellifera's just reaching and grabbing for the beetle jar to take it with them, since that seems to be they're feeling a bit remiss, like maybe they should have taken care of this problem sooner. You know?
What are you doing with the crystal as well?
I imagine I can only grab one thing, but I think Mellifera is grabbing the jar, because that's their immediate thought as to the and then maybe Ogre.
Roa will grab whatever you don't.
Yeah, okay, motioning, one hand around the jar and the other hand motioning to the...
Okay, I have a quick question while I am physically lifting Mellifera. Is there anything in the jar at this point?
You said the bee... Jordan, you said the bees managed to... there's a hole.
There seems to be about 3/4 full. Still of bees.
There's a lot of beetles outside.
There's only about a dozen. It's more more the converted bees than it is the beetles out there.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. So we're just picking up. Have they always glowed red? Beetles.
The beetles did
Beetles.
have a red glow to them.
Okay. So that's normal. Are you sure you want to take that?
I think
Fireman carry.
Yeah. I think I need it. I think I need to let them take out the tooth. Actually, if you can just put me down in the cart and just open the jar and just drop it on me, I'd really appreciate that.
Like a shower of beetles.
Just a shower. Yeah, I need a beetle bath.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable doing that. What's down?
I think this will be a good time to take our break, and we will start in the wagon leaving, which is where we started originally our whole session. But I will say, Roa, as you put the last of the things into the cart to get going, I'm gonna have to give you some blood stress for your bleeding.
Yeah.
So you take D4 at the end of the situation. Ooh, 4 blood stress.
Okay. And let me roll for my fallout. I'm good. Roll a 4 and I have 3 total stress.
Okay. And yeah, I think this is where we'll take the break as our story catches up with the beginning of our session. Thank you everybody for watching up until now. I hope it wasn't too stressful for everyone. And we'll be back in.
Brutal.
Yep.
Thanks everyone, we'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. Hello everyone, we are back from break. How you heckin' doing? I hope you did you get yourself a drink? Did you do a little stretch? Don't forget to take care as we do these good spooky times. Good for some of us, not for all of us. Good for any of us? Question mark, actually.
Great for the
Maybe-
players.
Yeah.
You're under some duress, I guess. A little bit. All right. I'll just quickly remind everyone about the knock at the door. Only $20 more, and you can mess up or add some crazy chaos to our game, and I will have to roll with come up with something, an intrusion of some kind into the game. And Jess, you want to mention the charity one more time too?
Yeah, it's the Trans Lifeline, which Trans Life in chat will get you the info. It's a really amazing trans-led organization dedicated to improving the quality of life of trans folk and the community.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm hearing like the sound of a truck backing up, but it sounds like it's in my room. It's weird. Okay, there's no truck. I'm on the 10th floor. It's impossible.
Ghost
but
truck.
It's the heart. It's a heart
the
truck.
heart's backing
It's
a
love
truck
your
into my room.
room.
It's our wagon. What bees remain get on the back of the wagon and they start going like beep,
Yeah.
Flashing
Ah,
lights.
it's full of teeth. Just dump trucking a bunch of dentures into my. Great.
Listen,
all right.
we have a brand at this point.
Yeah.
Like
Heart, a dump truck full of teeth. The game. So I hope that gets to Grant, because I think they need to put that on the book.
I'm putting a marker at this point in time on the video to come back and to cut that later.
A dump truck full of teeth backing into your 10th story apartment. So where we left off, you were all in a wagon, gilded, not as ostentatious as some Incarnadine vehicles as you've seen, and this sort of six-legged beast of burden is up ahead. Vaguely, it's got 2 rows of horns and this hangdog look on its face as it just quietly and simply pulls you down the well-worn path leading back to Baffling Din from this place. Very little, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes into the trip, the noise subsides completely behind you, and if you look back over your shoulders, you see that the Church of Sagacity is just gone. It's just flat stone behind you. All right, so yes, Melveri, you have a question for the class?
I would like to interject.
Mhm.
I feel like I do not see this.
No. I would say anyone who does.
Thought he gets
So,
spooked.
We
you
hit
know.
$50. Just so
Oh,
you know. As we're rolling away from this scene, listen, this is the equivalent of our like big explosion. No one's allowed to look back at it.
We're bleeding.
Just-
One of us is doubled over in pain and asking to be showered with beetles. The evil
Please.
beetles. Well,
Give-
evil is a hard word. in
Give me
heart.
the cursed beetles.
The
Just
beetles
give them
that
to
just
me.
took out an entire stronghold.
It's just reality folding in on itself. I don't see what the big deal is.
I just suddenly have an image of Ochre standing over Malefera, like salt shakering these beetles.
No, let this happen. Ochre, let this happen. Roa, back me up on this. Sometimes I don't have blood, but like, oh shoot, does Roa's blood powers work on me? Because I don't really have beeswax. Beeswax.
It's-
They're
They're
a
probably-
flash fixer, not a wax fixer.
How are you with candles?
I mean,
What about crayons? Oh, drawing? Okay.
Okay, hold on.
well, I'm a witch, and they are known for being wicked. Wicked.
Oh, that took so long.
I missed something good with my headphones on.
Had to literally spell it out.
Are you still hearing music in the Roll20? I'm not hearing music.
No, it went away.
Google says that it's playing music, but I don't hear anything.
I also
It
don't hear
says,
it.
Heart trapped in the giant machine. Well, Jordan, you might need to individually per song adjust the audio.
Oh, you want me to crank it up, right?
Well, no, I'm just saying maybe because each individual song will have an individual volume
Oh,
bar.
I hear something now, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay, that's not terrifying.
An ominous horn sounds. Right. This wagon, this route has well-worn wagon tracks. On the upper levels of the heart, the routes are usually fairly safe. So this has been well-worn between the temple and Baffling Din. And yeah, Melifera, you are lying in the back of the wagon with your friends around you. And I guess your last thing you said was put the Beatles on me.
Well, yeah, well, I was hugging this jar of beetles, as you do.
I'm gonna ask a question, and it's par for the course for this game, but it might be a little gross. How are you getting the beetles inside of you?
Well, okay, this is what I was imagining. I was imagining, because Vantage, like, literally, fireman carried me over to the wagon and, like, dumped me in the wagon. And then so I'm imagining Melifera has, like, you know, one arm around the jar and the other arm is, like, dragging themselves back, right? Like, backwards into the bed of this cart. And then as everyone gets in and we start wheeling away and this temple is no more, I think, yeah, Melifera probably look between Ochre and then settle on Roa, I think. Sorry, it's nothing personal, it's just, this is, we're going inside. I trust you to protect my outside of my body. I'm gonna ask Roa to help me with the inside of my body.
I don't take offense.
We should be able to open up somewhat if you just want to try to find a cavity, but I'm not sure how to find it's buried itself in there somehow, and according to that person we spoke to, these are the answer.
Well, suppose we can do a bit of experimentation. I should be fine, and if not, well, we'll deal with that then. All right, give me the beetles.
Beetles.
And Roa takes them and kind of examines them.
The thing that you have experienced what the beetles can do, because they literally destroyed an entire haven behind you. Well, destroyed isn't. They repurposed it and chopped it up and.
You said it was like 99% bees in the sky and only like 1% beetles. To be fair.
There were dozens of bees, and there was a dozen beetles, and it was more that the beetles created more beetles by converting the bees. So.
Okay, well, see, all the more reason why I want Roa to do this and not have my bees. Like, I'm actually gonna ask my bees to like step away from the torso.
Okay.
I'm gonna like encourage all the bees to like move to the extremities or exit temporarily. Like literally, I'll empty out below my head. Like basically, like I'll just empty out. And I'm
this
basically
wagon
like,
is a really fun place to be right now.
Yeah.
Full of bees.
Yeah.
So the question is that's what they did just for fun on their own. How are you going to indicate what you need them to do? Because that was the only real instruction you got from Crofer, was that they will get rid of the tooth if you tell them to. So Roa or Melifero or anyone who wants to chime in about how they're doing this, are you just going to whisper the instructions to the beetles?
Perhaps try Roa. Perhaps start with just one, and
That's
make
what I
a
was thinking.
request that it promptly enter, get the tooth, and come back out with it. Post haste, not be leaving behind any beetles. I can't wave my finger. I'm like this. Do you know in like The Princess Bride when he like
Oh.
can't move the bottom half of his body?
Yeah.
It's like that right now. It's like
If I could just maybe don't like phrase it like a suggestion. This is definitely a "this is what you're gonna do" situation. We don't want it to have
Yes.
any ideas about whether or not it's gonna listen.
I will assert myself.
Right.
I like how you're treating this like a genie wish situation. Which is
Is
totally
that
fair.
not what this is?
Oh, you never know with the heart.
that's how you made it sound, George.
So I am definitely imagining that on one side of this cart, Mellifera, mostly empty, and Roa are on one side, and then Ochre and Vantage and a cloud of bees are on the other side. Is that accurate?
Yeah, like I definitely asked them to like I indicate to them because obviously we're telepathically we are the hive. So I indicated to them to like take a step back. So like there's almost like this little like set of like bee viewers, like all just like watching along the rip. Like it's you're like they're hiding behind you and they're all peeking out.
A staging area for bees now?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Okay.
I love
Shoulders
that
are the
so
mezzanine.
much.
Yeah.
Just like sitting there like, listen, just make sure it's clear. All the bees are watching.
They're all just like perched on you.
I imagine
like,
they're also all perfectly spaced out as well. Like,
Yeah.
they're not clustered. It's just like
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why you know when they're not my bees, is because my bees have like a perfect organized form.
There's 6
Very
millimeters between
polite.
each bee.
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess what I'd be looking for from you then, Roa, if you're doing the actual application here, I will allow Melfair to help if they've got something to match, but it will be a mend occult.
Perfect.
I have both of those also, so I can also donate a die.
It's going to be risky.
Okay.
Bleh.
I
So
think
you're gonna-
yeah, so the plan is like reach in and just grab one beetle. But I think it's around now that probably everyone is realizing that my hands never fully turned back into totally human hands, and I've got like they're like longer claws now, and just like the shape is a little bit different.
You know what? That just sounds like good for ripping the beetle out real fast if it tries to get up to any naughtiness. To
So
me.
So I'm gonna reach in and just get one beetle between two, like the tips of two claws.
Oh, so good.
I'm so nervous.
Oh shit!
What did you roll?
What?
Wait, because did you roll with an extra dice for me? Because I'm
I
assisting
did not.
you.
I did not.
I'm assisting you because
Okay,
I also
because I
have
have
occult
a
image.
7, a 2, and a 3, and it's risky. Ha! Gonna drop the 9 I just rolled for a 7.
Okay. So you are going to take some fallout.
Yep.
You're going to take some
Manicure fallout.
Some fortune fallout.
Okay.
Be fortune fallout.
All right, I'm gonna roll for fallout now. Oh, I'm good. I
Okay.
rolled an 8, and I have 6 total stress.
So, okay. So you are putting this where? Just to clarify.
So I take it out, and I hold the beetle up real close to my face, and I say, "You will enter Mellifera's hive, retrieve the tooth, and return, and you will do nothing else."
Okay.
then I think, like, Millefare, did you like open up a gap in your torso somewhere or something like that, or is it just like just
I was trying to look at my sheet to double check. I have the ability to like take myself apart somewhat. I think I could open a small, like just like not a big.
I think that's fine. You can.
Yeah, I would have opened up like near where the pain was. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like I would have like opened up just like a small.
It's like
Incision.
popped open a panel.
A little
Just a
bit
little
of
panel.
the waxen layer that simulates the flesh, Melliflare's flesh
Mhm.
opens up, and you can see a little honeycomb hex grid underneath that is the actual structure that the skin is kind of layered over, which is about the right size, but maybe a little bit of a squeeze, but the beetle will be able to crawl inside. All right.
And I look at let me know if there's more pain. And I set the beetle right by the cavity.
The beetle pauses, and its front feet kind of do this pensively, and then the glowing kind of red, grossly veiny mandibles kind of click, and then it just climbs inside of Mellifera's stomach. Mellifera, I need you to make an endure cursed roll again.
No, that's the thing I have none of.
I will, if Roa has either of them, I think they can help.
I have endure. I think Roa just takes Millifera's hand.
I can't feel it right
Oh,
now.
yeah. That's right.
Put your hand on her head,
Yeah.
maybe, where she still has bees.
Oh man.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
so-
were they still have bees?
So
Someone's
there's
gotta keep this thing
an
running.
extra die there for you.
Okay, so I can roll 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like literally looking at my dice like, which of you is it?
Which of
Which
you
of you-
will betray me?
Listen, we had the bag of silver, now it's time. Like, don't. No. Oh, I got the spider, which should be a B, which is the 10, which is the perfect, which is the.
Of course. You can, because that place, your stomach you emptied out of bees, you can feel very distinctly the movement of this beetle, which feels like a big fat organ, like compared to the bees, like just dragging
Yeah.
itself around inside of you. A lot of the narrow passageways are too small, and it has to pull its way through to get to different places. And you can sense also that sharp pain. It's like it becomes more and more focused, and it's ahead of the beetle for a time, moving along with it until the two feelings inside your stomach meet.
Mm.
Mhm. And there, only you can hear it, Mellifera, but there's this like crunching, nibbling sound.
I'm sorry.
And then only the beetle starts. You can only feel the beetle moving as it comes back towards the entrance, the exit, I guess now. And the beetle pulls itself out painstakingly, and it has the tooth half kind of gnawed inside of its mandibles.
That felt like it worked to me. How does it look down there, Roa? Like trying to look.
It looks like this. That's what everyone's doing. So.
It looks like everyone just like horrified.
This is actually a good time to remember that it's Tuesday, that Vantage has scarves, like on the bottom half of their face.
Right.
So it's really just intense eyes.
Yeah. You're doing some real Dracula acting right now.
Absolutely, just like
So
Yeah, I think so. Roa's going to reach down and pick up the beetle without touching the tooth.
the beetle is in the tooth is inside the beetle's maw.
Mandibles.
Yeah,
you're-
so like. pick
Okay,
up
but
its
you want to
body.
touch only beetle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I will need an endure curse from you, unfortunately. Where are you intending to bring the beetle?
That's a good question. Do we want to put it back in the jar with all the other beetles
Wanna put
and
it
the
back in
does
tooth?
it go free to go back to the new beetle sanctuary?
What was the former Temple of Sagacity, which is now the Beetle Sanctuary of Heart.
Silver lining.
We just returned it to the heart. Oh God. I would assume just put it in the jar for now, but also they got away previously, so I don't know.
I will seal it shut afterwards.
Yeah.
Seal the jar shut
Yeah.
with witch spit.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, I will. I'm going to place it inside. So you said endure cursed.
Yeah. Just this thing is Malifera. You'll now that you're able to concentrate on other things, you'll remember that the beetles before going to cause chaos dug through and ate a bunch, like tried to chew on some of that crystal as though it was a fuel or empowering them.
Oh right. So it wasn't just the beetles. It was like they're like kind of cursed, and the crystal's kind of cursed, and then together they're like really cursed. Okay. That's why you don't keep all your cursed objects together, y'all.
We'll put them in the same bag. Yeah.
Oh,
They're in
learned
the
a
same
lesson.
wagon right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like, yeah, Malifera's like, did someone pick up the crystal? Please keep that away from the beetles. That might have encouraged their...
I think. Does Roa have the crystal?
I think Ochre picked it up?
I think I would have gone for it first.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So Ochre will go and like shove it into the opposite corner.
All right, here I go. 6.
Okay. Where's the die I want to roll? Three echo stress.
Okay.
You can kind of there's like an urge to shove this thing in your mouth all of a sudden, like you want to eat this
Oh, the
wild
teeth.
creature.
Good God. I have 9 stress right now. Here we go.
Do it, don't do it, don't do it.
11.
Okay.
Oh, oh my God.
You are like a ticking time bomb right now. Okay. Yeah, you put it into the jar, and the whole jar just erupts into activity after you seal it. But the beetles inside are all fighting to get to the tooth. There's not enough room for them to do it. Some beetles are murdering the other beetles to get towards it, and only about half of the total beetles are in there remain as they like chew through the last of the tooth. So I reduced down the resource to a D6, Jess, and now I'm gonna knock it down to a D4 because there's just
The beetles?
less and less
Yeah.
beetles. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the quantity, basically also one more application of it, basically to seek out some heart things and destroy it. So okay, the rest of your journey, unless there's any other little things that Roa, you have to take some blood stress.
Can I? Hang on.
Is it
Wait, I
bleeding?
have a thing.
Oh, yes, I do.
And another situation has ended.
Yes.
Wait.
2 blood stress.
Okay, I have 2 protection, so...
Oh, okay. So don't need to roll either. Okay. Is there anything anyone else would like to do on this trip? Conversations?
Yeah. I want to do a quick thing because Roa just healed me and like my I'm gonna say like I'm gonna let some of my bees start coming back to start like
Mm-hmm.
coming back in, letting me move. Also to seal up the hole. They're gonna go in there and check it out. Like some of the bee guards gonna go in, make sure there's no bad nonsense happening in there. But then I also want to reach out since Roa grabbed my previously unmoving hand. And I'm gonna grab Roa's hand and thank you. I can't do as much as what you just did for me, but let me try. I'm gonna use my sacred geometry to heal them. Because I have that ability.
So this is a fallout. That's
But you said they have blood stress. I can remove blood stress from an ally.
yes. You can get rid of stress.
That's what I was gonna do.
Okay.
I was just gonna do a little bit.
Yeah, I have 2 blood stress right now.
Oh, is that it? Oh.
It will help.
It will, because I have total.
That's
I have
true,
9 stress
okay.
total.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably want to get rid of it while you can.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then
What's the other stress that you have? Just out of curiosity.
I have echo stress and fortune stress. Although I can try and take care of the echo stress.
Okay.
I don't know what's better here, because I rolled a 10, but I also rolled a 6, and my sacred geometry says if I roll a 6, I get to roll an additional d6 while healing them. So...
But that's also once, your secret geometry is once per,
Once
like
per
the
roll
sixth
is
thing
Okay.
is once,
Right?
no, once per session?
Yeah, okay.
So you can
I'm
turn that
asking
6
you
into
if you
a
want to
10.
do that later.
Yeah, I guess we'll save it. We'll use the 10.
Yeah.
You can treat a 6 as a 10, right? Which would
That's-
mean you have 2 10s.
That's my majestic ability.
Well, okay, but it can all apply, I think. Anyway, it's up to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
I-
use the 10.
I only have 2 blood stress anyway, so rolling an extra d6 isn't
Yeah, pointless.
super valuable.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So mending, you'll just roll a d4,
Okay.
unless your ability says something else.
No, that's what I was trying to figure out.
The
if
default
it-
for any die roll is a d4. So if it doesn't specify that you roll a d6 to mend things,
No.
you have a mending tool?
I thought I did. Do I not?
You do not know.
I have a mechanical finger. I have an unopened can of eels. I have dimensional barometer, hive tools.
Yeah. Okay.
and
You
a
don't have
heart's
any.
blood rose.
You don't have any then. So you're just rolling a d4.
Okay. D. 4. Where are you? I have like everything else. I have a D8. I have a D. I could roll a D8 and have it. Sorry
Use
for the noise.
math?
Sometimes I math. 2. Hey, that's what you needed,
Perfect.
right?
Perfect.
All right. You patch up as much as you can to help slow down the bleeding that Roa is slowly suffering from. And that's when you start to see the gates. This is like, because you're coming down from a higher, the first tier, a tier closer to the surface. This side has a more stable. This is the more stable size of the Baffling Din, and in fact, there is a large gate that has been set up to kind of as the main entrance, entrance, and banging on the door, knocking on the front door, are just about a dozen raggedy-looking people that all are like wearing animal hides and have like plants and things like woven into their hair. The bearded ones, the beards stretch long and look a lot like the hat, a little bit like the hat, and it seems as though a bunch of druids are looking. A bunch of the druids from what's it called? Red Cap Grove are
Red
banging
crap.
on the doors to get in. Red crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seek a doctor
Get into Baffling Din?
to get into Baffling Din. Yeah.
Hmm.
And they're a little bit ahead, so you can you have some time to figure out what you want to do. We'll say there's 8 of them.
8 of them is a lot to fight.
Most of them are sort of they look like they're lost, sort of like someone at 1 a.m. at a college dorm party lost. So it's more of it's a metaphysical loss as much as it is an actual loss. And but there's a couple that bear these big kind of clubs and they're using the clubs to bang on the door.
Are
Do they
these?
seem angry or anything like
Yeah.
that?
There's some agitation. It's not against Baffling Din, but it's more that it seems like they're upset that they're not being let in.
Yeah, Mellifera turns to the group and is just like, friends of anyone?
I
The
mean,
only druid that lives nearby is the Hat.
Theophilus, right?
Hmm?
Theophilus, right?
Yeah, Theophilus Hat is his name,
Theophilus.
yes. Yeah.
The hat.
The Hat, yeah. And he sort of lives on the outskirts, on the more heartward side of town. And you do have some dealings with the druids in the sense that they're kind of neighbors to you in a more stable part of the heart, and so there has been some trade and things, but usually it's in the same way as you've had with the Red Queen, Ochre, which is, you or an emissary of some kind goes to make exchanges and of information and goods and things. But why they would be wanting to get in, why they are banging on the door so angrily, is it's never happened before. You don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose. Well, Ochre looks around and says, "I'm gonna go up ahead and see what they want. Anyone want to join? Or, feel free to rest, Mellifera."
Do you want I should cover you at range?
I would appreciate that very much.
Just set up in the wagon. I've
Yeah.
done this before.
Okay. Taking the crystal with me in my awkward bag, I'm going to like push myself out of the wagon and walk up to the group, stop about 10 feet away, and call out, "Are you druids from Redcap Grove?"
The seeming leader, the one in front who's just about to hit the door again with the club, turns and says, "What gave it away, Hound?"
You can never be sure of things down here. What's troubling you?
We need safe passage and a place to stay for the night.
And has a reason been given for you to not enter?
No one's answering the door.
Out of character, does this happen frequently?
Usually there are a couple of hounds posted up on the top. You don't see them right now.
Okay. Have you seen anyone so far?
We've been here 20 minutes and no one's answered the door. It's rude, is what I live in the wilderness and I think it's uncouth.
It is definitely, it's definitely not something that commonly happens here. If you would stand back and perhaps lower your weapons for a little bit, I can take a look.
Give me a Compel Wild.
Compel wild. Okay. I just have compel, I believe, so that's 2 dice. Yeah. I got an 8.
Okay. The club kind of goes back down onto their shoulder, not necessarily lowered all the way, but they do kind of give you one of these, after you, and the crowd kind of parts a little bit, and you can see that they've all got. They have the most common weapon in Redcap Grove is like this dual-purpose, sort of like small sickle on the end of a pole to use to like harvest the mushrooms that create the fine drugs that keep them in business. And so a lot of them use that. And you've heard of them kind of disposing of people with with 1,000 cuts kind of methods. And so they kind of glint. Everything about these folks is kind of filthy, but the blades of their weapons are very, very clean. So you approach the door. It's not big. It's sort of a big wooden double door, like you might expect on the outside, and the wall doesn't surround Baffling Din. It's just sort of blocking off. It goes from like stone to stone in the cavern that Baffling Din is in.
Right. It's
And
just
you
like
can
a
see
barrier
Baffling Din
for
on the
this
other side.
road.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna like approach the door and knock and go, Hounds, it's Ochre. Returned from the Red Market.
A small grayish-skinned drow teen in a newsy cap pokes their head over the roof of the over the, what's it called, the top of the wall where they can stick above the
Parapet?
doors. The parapet, maybe. Castles have so many names. You know what I mean. And then, like small animals, another half dozen heads all poke up, and they go, "Oh, Ochre, is that you? You back?"
Yeah, it's me. I kind of fumble around and pull my badge up and like hold it up to them.
Yeah. These stinkers been knocking for half an hour. Bang, bang, bang.
Is there a reason you haven't let them in?
Ain't our job.
We
was keeping an eye on it for you, Ochre. Keeping an eye on it, see?
Well, I really appreciate it. I've been gone for a while.
They smile and they lift up their own little homemade badge that they've made. Pups ain't letting the stinkers in until Ochre says yeah.
And you've been doing a really, really fine job of it.
You can hear them whisper to the other ones. It's like, "Fine job," she says. "We've been doing a fine job." And they all like are nodding and patting each other on the back.
If they say they only need shelter for the night, I think we can give it to them, right? We'll keep an eye on them when they're in here, but otherwise, I think they're okay.
Oh, we'll keep all our eyes on them, Ochre.
I know I can trust you.
Eyes in the sky.
Eyes in the sky.
And they duck down just like in a ripple, all one after another behind the wall. And then there's the crank of the doors opening up. And the rowdy druids start to like push their way past each other to get in.
And I'm like, hey, one at a time. Easy.
One of them's like, "We don't have rules," and they run past you into the Baffling Din. And the doors swing open, and before you is home sweet home.
And look back at Vantage and kind of shrug.
Yeah, Vantage is putting the gun back. Seems like everything's fine now. And then I guess we lead our wagon in?
Yeah.
Sure.
Back home.
We'll say like most towns, semi-medieval towns, is a place to, a wagon house kind of thing that you can keep your six-legged cow, we'll call it
Did
for
it
now.
lose two
Eight-legged.
legs?
Oh, was it eight-legged before?
The bees got
Did the
hungry.
beetles take it?
Maybe it just sometimes has 8 legs and sometimes has 6 legs.
It depends on
Okay.
the time of day, right?
The
As
cow,
long
the cow
as
looks
it's
at
not
you
losing
and shrugs with
legs.
its new arms.
Okay. Fair.
Like, I used to have 8 legs. It talks now too. No, if I said 8 legs, then it's got 8 legs. Yeah, your home sweet home.
I
The-
suppose we should
yeah,
probably.
sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I was gonna say we should check in with what was the Incarnadine.
That's definitely in my notes, probably.
Yeah.
Definitely, probably.
It's in. Don't forget you have the character sheet for Baffling Din as the first.
You mean Audacia?
Audacia. Yeah.
Audacia, yeah.
There we go. It is in my notes.
Oh, right. She was asking after me, wasn't she?
She
You'd been-
was.
You'd been gone too long, and I suppose we've absolutely been gone too long at this point.
I can't wait to see what we've got to patch up today. Mellifera, you all right to come with us?
Oh, yes. I think we're doing like they're doing like these stretches, and they're like the bees are like helping them stretch. Like there's like little line of bees like grabbing on and doing like whoop, to like help them do like stretches. Like, yes, I think we are able to proceed. That was quite. Thank you so much, Roa. We have not felt this good and clean in a much ready to go. Let's. And they'll just proceed out. Let's go. Following behind Ochre.
As you move, as you head back in, the druids kind of disperse in a bunch of different directions. A bunch of them seem to head over to where Vantage's house and Hat's tree is. The Hat's tree is, seemingly knowing that they are here, and the couple of hounds that were sort of patrolling closer to Baffling Din proper are like, whoa, hey, where's everybody going? As some of them on all fours now, the druids kind of just like are like hooting and loping into the relative calm of Baffling Din. So you do know that the tougher of the druids can transform into other beasts, and some of them bear animalistic features. Usually just as an intimidation tactic, but
Do we, out of character, do we want to follow them, or should we just let that go for now?
We could, if we wanted to stay together to speak to Audacia, we could set some eyes on them. If you would like.
Vantage might want to follow.
I assume
ones
Vantage might
going.
want to
Yeah,
go to.
they're headed towards your home.
Yeah, I already have one druid squatting in my residence.
you want druids? This is how you get druids.
So gonna have to chase him out with a
With the broom.
It's like get. Yeah.
All right. So Vantage, you kind of trot off towards home.
Yeah.
You have
Vantage?
all been so focused on just getting here and the insane events of the past night/day, whatever. You didn't realize that the pulse has changed, and before you were in this sort of sweltering heat that you felt really strongly in the Red Market, but now a cold chill has kind of come across the heart, and Mellifera and Ochre, as you move through the city to wherever you're going, you can hear the tune, Baffling Din's tune, but then you also hear a new layer underneath it. Basically adding notes in, changing the song subtly.
Like a counter melody almost? Or...
Sort of, yeah. I don't know if you are John Williams fans, but in episode 1, he did like a deconstructed version of Darth Vader's theme for Anakin Skywalker, and it basically was like every third note, from the Darth Vader's theme became Anakin's theme, and in a major key. So imagine you've been listening to kind of heroic music, and then a couple of notes are being added in, and they're turning the dial to more sinister. And drums. There are faint drum beats that all of you hear. Sort of like a long, far away, approaching army. You are now in what is known as scratch. You're out of swelter and into the pulse known as scratch. So Vantage, as you round your bend around the city to your home, a bunch of the druids, 3 of them have joined Hat in his tree, and they're all like lounging in the different chairs, just like having a loud conversation about absolutely nothing. Little bundles, like little fabric bundles tied off with ribbons, are being passed around. And you can't really see what they're eating, but they are definitely eating whatever's inside the bundles. And a lot of their conversations end in raucous, annoying laughter. The perhaps more startling scene, believe it or not, is that a couple of the graves have phantoms sitting on top of them, leaning up against their headstones. And there is a quieter conversation happening between a few of them as they just sort of sit on top of the ghosts sit on top of their own graves, talking to each other. And this is something that can happen during Scratch sometimes, where the chill of the grave sort of shakes the dead awake, and they come looking for a little taste of what they haven't had in a long time.
Lovely. All right. I guess the other question is, are there any waiting graves?
No, not
Okay.
currently.
All right. That's good, at least. Cool. Fun. I got some ghosts.
Anything you'd like to do currently?
No, we can cut back to everyone else. I just want everyone to imagine Vantage standing, like, in their gate, just, like, hands on their hips, low-key scowling at some ghosts.
Cool.
Just those eyes.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a different look than your blank face, which still looks like a scowl, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not a scowl, it's just blank.
All right. We'll jump to Roa, since you are in the most precarious situation. The Baffling Din has a few haunts, places that can help patch things up. The graveyard is one of them, which can get rid of fortune stress if you so choose. But I think you will probably be heading to the Unbutcherer, which is what you casually call the doctor, doctor/butcher in Baffling Din.
Can they take care of echo stress? I forget.
Oh, they can get rid of your blood fallout, I think, which I think is your biggest priority right now.
Yes.
You don't have any way to get rid of echo stress. Echo stress is really tough to get rid of.
Actually, I have an ability that can let me try, but I'll do that later. It's very risky. If I roll higher than my current echo stress, I add that much to my stress.
Oh.
Oh boy.
But if I roll equal to or lower, I get to remove that much. So.
Oh, that's so.
So you want to have enough echo stress built up that you can't roll higher than it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's on a D6 or something?
Yeah, a D6.
All right.
Yeah.
Is anyone potentially accompanying Roa to the butcher, and is that where you want to go, Roa?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Ochre might be beelining to Audacia.
Okay.
It's up to Mellifera if they want to go or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I think I said that they were originally going with Ochre, but now I'm like, oh no, should they go with Roa? I'm not. I guess I'll go with Roa because I guess we'll kind of like we were following along behind Ochre, and then when we see this, we'll pause and be like, perhaps you should head to Odisha and check in with her since you are the one she wanted to speak to, and then perhaps we will catch up again.
Yes, it feels right that you should take care of Roa or aid in that now, after they helped take care of you.
It's just we do prefer that sort of symmetry.
Yeah, I'll pat them on the shoulder and head off on my own.
Okay. So we'll do Roa and Mellifera first, I guess. It's been a while since we've been in Baffling Din. I guess it's been since the very first session. And Baffling Din kind of is linked, sort of psychically, to everyone who lives there, and kind of knows what you need when you need it before maybe even you know you need it. And so often just picking a direction and going with an intent will have you come across what you need fairly quickly. And the rather loud and very busy unbutchery is basically right up ahead as you come in. The unbutcher, the only name that they are known by, is a massive, beefy gnoll who has regularly chops up various wild creatures to be turned into the food that feeds the people who lives here. He is known for his massive blade, which he uses to do that job. But he also has a more nimble hand than you would expect, and it's crude, but will often be able to patch up at least simple injuries. And so he sees the two of you step through the door, and he sees Roa with most of Roa's innards on the outside. And he says, "Well, you done got yourselves fucked up, huh?"
You could say that.
"All right, spread out," he says to all the people who are kind of shopping. And a lot of them are like, "Oh," and they just decide to come back. And he comes around the side of the counter, and he's big, even for a gnoll. And gnolls are often hunched over, and even with the hunch, he's big. So Roa and Mellifera, what is your relationship with this? How do you feel about him, the Unbutcher?
Roa appreciates the work that the Unbutcher does.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, while Mellifera has no personal interest, desire, work towards blood, that's not something we have in our bodies. So, but they are skilled at what they do, which we always appreciate, and taking things apart and putting them back together is something we admire. We do that a lot too.
All right. Get over here. Let's get to fixing.
Roa sits on whatever is.
Help him, beekeeper. Help him.
Okay, yes. Roa, how do you find it best to seat yourself?
Something like that, yes. Thank you.
One big gnoll hand comes up and grabs sort of onto your chest, Roa, and just pushes you back into the chair. He's like, "I can handle this. It's fine. What seems to be the problem? Is it the hole and gut I'm looking at today?"
If you wouldn't mind, yes.
Well, I don't mind as long as pay's on the way.
Oh, come, it always is, you know that.
Good. Sinew and guts, they don't come for free, you know?
Well, depends on how you get them.
Sure. I need surgical quality. And he kind of laughs at this comment that he's made. He goes over and he gets like this spool of very thick sinew. It's hard to tell where this came from, but something big. And he unravels a bunch. And then he has a needle that's probably too long that he ties the thing around. And he says, the only painkiller I have is a wrought iron pan across the front of the head. Is that something you're interested in?
No, I'll do without. Thank you.
Of course. Money up front, please.
Of course. What's
So a minor to get rid of a minor fall, it's a D6.
All right, I have some tattered finery.
Okay.
That is a D6.
Whatever that. What is this from your? This is something from your past life, or what is your tattered?
Yeah,
finery?
I think it was a long scarf, silk scarf, that has seen better days, but will keep spores out.
Right. Or did until now. He says, "This is this is too nice for me, but I'll trade it for more goods." And he balls it up and just tosses it behind him, and then starts to stitch. And I mean, he heats the needle up over like a candle, and it hurts to high heaven. But it's a fairly simple stitch that is done fairly quick. The only real painful part is when he pulls to seal it all up, and everything just kind of like together.
So the family's good?
Oh, just I got 8 kids, and they're all little shits. And he
Well,
yanks,
you did say you have 8 kids, so...
Yeah. And he yanks one more time and ties it all off. And it's like a football stitch. Like, it's like the stitch on the side of a football. It's like... But as you watch, you can already see that flesh kind of growing into yours and starting to heal you, so you can get rid of that blood fallout.
Does he have a name, or he's just known as the Unbutcherer?
He's only known as the Unbutcher.
Okay.
There is a creature.
That's what his kids call him.
Yeah. They call him Dad. There is a creature that lives that terrorizes some parts of the heart called the Butcher, called a Butcher. So maybe it's just it's just to differentiate between the two. This guy is definitely not a butcher. He is an unbutcher.
No, very clearly an unbutcher.
Okay, Ochre. You start heading your way to the office of your de facto boss, Audacia, and the din obviously like shuffles around you. That note, those extra notes that are joining the chorus of Baffling Din are hard to shake. The earworm is terrible at best, and now it's just everything you've seen, up until now. It seems to be causing you to have the sounds amplified, and you don't even realize that you're walking, but you don't even realize when you arrive right in front of Audacia's office or abode. It's ornate. She has requested that the apiarists make her office as stable as possible so that she can decorate it as befitting an Incarnadine. And so there's a lot of red and gold trim, which is not seen in the more utilitarian parts. And it has a little sliding window on it so that she doesn't have to open the door unless it's absolutely necessary.
Of course. So Ochre is going to come up to the door, knock, and lean in. Audacia?
The little window opens up, and you can see their piercing eyes saying, "Ah, the prodigal hound returns." And
Good to
then
see you too, Miss Garnet.
I didn't say that. And she closes the little window, opens the door for you to come in, closes it and locks it again behind her, and says, immediately grabs a pile of paperwork and puts it in your hand. These are your assignments.
Oh, I see a lot has happened since I left.
It's a busy town. It needs its head hound.
I start like half-heartedly flipping through it to see if there's like anything which has a lot of red ink on it.
You're trying to see what's priority.
Yeah, or I guess I could ask her that too. Like, is there anything which I should start with first?
Look, I'm not going to pretend to understand how your brain works, Ochre. I'm sure you've got some way to sort this out yourself. I mean, I collected all of this stuff while you were gone. I feel like I've done my part.
Yeah, my friends told me that you were very concerned.
There's a lot of work that you do that I don't want to.
All right.
But I shouldn't have to. Now you're asking me to file these, which I think is just... wow.
I missed you too, Ms. Garnet.
I didn't say that. I appreciate that you only dawdled a little on whatever it was that you were up to.
Do you have any contacts with the Red Market?
Sure.
I was wondering if I could ask you to send this with them next time. It's a return of goods back to their rightful owners. And I kind of like indicate the big bag of tchotchkes on my back.
Where did you get all this crap? Why are you wandering around with this?
It's a long story. Dawdling. Well...
You know you're a Baffling Din hound, right? You don't need to be solving other people's problems while you're out. Is that why you're late? Why you've been late?
I didn't want to get on the bad side of the Red Queen.
Yeah, I'll make sure it's with outgoing mail. Do you have a name?
Maybe best to just address it to the Red Queen and let her handle all of that side of it.
Okay. Is there anything else you want me to do for you?
Just keep being your cheery self.
It comes
Bye.
naturally to me.
Yeah. Bye, Audacia.
You're about to head out to the door, and she says, "Look, this place falls apart when you're not here.
You're very kind.
That stack doesn't get nearly as high when you're not around, so it's your fault.
I'll work on it.
You've had a long time. I figured you'd have figured it out by now."
You're always learning in the heart, so...
And those druids can't stay unless they're going to pay. I saw them running around.
I said it was only for a night. I've got my pups on it.
Oh, great.
They haven't been causing trouble for you too, have they?
I don't even know where they are most of the time.
It's probably for the best.
Sometimes I think that there's one living in my wall. I hear scratching. Can you tell them to not do that?
Yeah, I'll tell them to be quiet.
Also to not be in the wall?
Yeah.
Bye.
I can try.
Yeah. I can't hear you, the din. A common conversation ender in Baffling Din is the din.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What?
Yeah. Ochre, as you leave, you're flipping. You said you're flipping through to see what's priority and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it is like little disputes that probably have like ironed themselves out by now, where it's someone complaining about one person snipping someone else's shrubbery, and there's that kind of just like
There's shrubbery.
regular condominium problems. You know what I mean? That you really they go away by themselves. But you do find a report that is right near the bottom, and is not. It's distinct because it is not marked up with any kind of priority, and it just says, my apartment grew a limb. There's someone reporting that their apartments, part of when they came home, and part of their apartment had formed into just what's described as a limb.
Oh, there are a lot of different kinds of limbs. I think I should probably get an apiarist with me for this one.
There, you flash back to the visions that you have seen up until now. Your first vision of Baffling Din, when we first introduced your character, you saw the Din sort of tumbling, but then extending a massive arm out to catch itself before it fell. And then, of course, you saw that image repeated in the crystal and meat monster that you fought last session.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is a little note has awoken all of these memories in the back of your head. And I think that's where we'll end it for tonight, for this afternoon.
Yeah, when I heard limb, I first thought like a tentacle, so that's why I didn't go there.
Tentacles would be too expected. Like, tentacles are the default creepy eldritch thing. I think it's way creepier if just an arm is growing out of a wall with like a hand at the end.
Just like 2 elbows or something, maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Worse
way
if
too
it,
long.
Just gently brushes your hair as you walk by.
Yeah, just like great. It just drags
a
across
pet.
your face. Yeah.
Although I do imagine the pup's playing rock, paper, scissors with it.
Oh yeah, playing catch.
And it wins every time.
Playing frisbee.
It shakes 3 times and then splits into all three results, and you're like, oh, poop.
One of the pups is
cheating
like, that's
again?
cheating.
One hand only.
Balonies.
Oh my god.
That's not fair. The benefits of being just a sentient hand.
Just a cent. Never thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the
Session
end of our
5
episode.
in the bag.
Yeah. Let's go
Thank you,
around
Jordan.
and say goodbye. And tell us who you are, where we can find you, what you're up to, all that good stuff. And so we'll go backwards. That means you're first, Jordan.
I'm Jordan. I'm Made of Cartoons on Twitter and Instagram. I am here every other Saturday GMing this game. And you can occasionally see me on Friday nights doing Fiasco Fridays, although I was not at the one last night, but it was a fun time. Heckna is my work's current Kickstarter, Heckna Spooky Clown Carnival. The free playtest is available, so it's perfect for spooky October stuff. Go check it out. We got to the stretch goal where I get to draw write the Are We the Baddies supplement, where you get to play as Heckna's minions. I'm very excited for that. New stretch goals coming up is that we are going to get our own soundtrack from Mint Potion, which if you know video games music, they are pretty big, and they wrote they wrote the score for Shovel Knight and a few other like popular indie titles. There's a sample of that available. You can go check out on the Kickstarter, but it's what you would expect. It's terrifying, spooky, fun carnival music that will work for a lot of games. So hopefully we make it to that. That's it, I guess, for me. Thank you. Thanks for playing, everybody.
Thank you. Next up is Ryan.
Yeah, I'm Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at @TheOneTrueK, and you can find my games at archon.itch.io. My most exciting news is that the Wild Sea got picked up by Mythopia for publishing. So lots of things are going ahead now, and looking at Kickstarter probably coming the end of the month. So that's really, really exciting. And in celebration, Felix released a new playtest document that now has some shipbuilding rules, so you can create your own ships, as well as a new post, the Corsair, which is kind of like a fancy sword person. But yeah, and just a bit of new artwork and just teasing what's coming out in the full release. So definitely go check that out. Keep your eye out for the Kickstarter because it's coming, and I'm really excited. It's gonna be good.
Awesome. Amazing. Next up is Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam. You can find me at SamUndamiel on Twitter. I'm offering tarot readings, so if you are feeling the spooky time season and you're like, yes, I want someone to read cards for me, just DM me on Twitter. We'll set a time and we'll work everything out. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Oh, right. And then you can catch me and Jess on Tuesdays at Salty Sweet Game playing Burn Bright. And this past week we escaped an auction that had
Plasma Ghost?
evolved into a shootout.
Oh.
There was a plasma ghost. Walala, Jess's character, made friends with a plasma ghost.
Adopted a ghost?
How would you not want to make friends with a plasma ghost? Come on.
Didn't quite adopt the ghost.
No.
We stopped just short of ghost adoption. So, the ghost has gone to a good home? Yeah. It's good times. Check it out if you're free on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. New York time.
Perfect. Amazing. Sharon.
Hi, I'm Sharon, and you can find me on Twitter at my handle is at chew_baka. I don't have anything to announce. Thank you all for coming. Had a really great time.
Heck yeah. It's a fun game. Thank you all so much for playing. Thank you all so much for the spooky times. I had so much fun with the opening, the going backwards thing. That was a ton of fun. Like, I honestly, when you were like, it's time for break, I was like, what? No, it isn't. What are you talking about? You're making stuff up. This is a lie.
I checked. Jess was the only person who knew that it was going to happen because I needed to make sure she was, because Mellifera is kind of at the center of it. Because Mellifera had a beat that she wanted to meet, which was to destroy a haven and return it to the heart. But she is so anti-destruction, I had to find a way for that to happen.
We're anti-giving anything to the heart.
Yeah. So, she asked, "Are you going to tell everyone else?" And I said no. And then she said, "You monster." So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if you all feel that was monstrous of me, but.
You're GMing a heart game. I don't know what
Yeah.
else can be expected.
Yeah, I'm the real monster for sure.
It's true. Yeah, this is a great session. Thank you all so heckin' much. Thanks so much everyone who's been hanging out watching. Go check out, hey, commands. There we go. Whoa. Sorry. The bot went silly. If you're hanging out in the chat right now, I'm posting all the links for all these people. Go find all these cool people and all they do. If you watch later over on YouTube, I post everyone's links down below. We'll also have the link for Heart, the City Beneath. It's a tabletop role-playing game by Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. Check it out. They're awesome. And don't forget that our final episode is landing squarely on Halloween and that we have a huge heckin' amazing Heart bundle to give away. So come hang out for that. Be part of that. Come get your chance to get in on that giveaway and win that amazing, amazing prize. Thanks so much once again, as always, to Roll20, where you hear all these spooky sounds, like several times during the game chat commented on like, oh man, these sounds are like this is so tense, this scene is so tense, and the music really adds. That's the actual official Heart music that's in Roll20. So check it out for yourself, play all your games. Be responsible, play games with your friends, but at a distance. And you know how you can do that? Roll20. It's really, really great for that sort of thing. So yeah, and like I said, I'm just gonna plug Trans Lifeline one more time, which is something we're raising funds for all through October. So come hang out. check out just check out my Twitter for the pinned tweet, because my schedule is literally almost every day of the week. There's something going on. Come hang out here. For video games kind of all the time. Tuesdays with Sam over on Salty Sweet Games. Thursday, video games. Friday, Fiasco or Indie Game Spotlights. We got to do a murder one last night. I died. It was great. It was so much fun. I've never played Fiasco with, like... We literally played a death camp, and there was a murderer, and we didn't know who it was, and we were all just like, oh, it was very good.
Camp Death. I mean,
Camp
Death
Death,
Camp
thank
makes
you.
it sound like something else.
Sorry, yeah.
No,
Camp
it's
Death.
fine.
Thank
Camp
you.
Death.
Thank you.
Spooky
Thank you.
80s horror murder. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. It was really great. Obviously come here every other Saturday for Heart. And tomorrow is actually the season finale, the show finale, not season. Gone forever after tomorrow is the Conspiracy in the Stars Dark Matter campaign. They finally made it out into space, and now they're in space. So that's happening. It's not their spaceship that they're in space with. They took a spaceship and they're in space. So, you know, as you do in space. Why fly your own ship when you can take someone else's, I guess? My crew is great. Last session they traded some children for their hoverboards to go on a hoverboard space city chase sequence. And they traded
Yeah,
Traded
they
with
did trade
children.
children, right?
no teens. Let's be clear. They didn't give children weapons. They gave teens a bunch of weapons.
What you said
in
made it sound
exchange
like
for
they
hoverboards.
traded children for hoverboards,
No,
Sorry. Yeah, that is horrific.
Yes.
which is a great deal. It's a great deal. I would take it.
Oh my god, amazing. But yeah, so much stuff. So please check out all these people, all they're doing. Come hang out with us for lots and lots of heckin' great stuff. All the time. Yeah, that's gonna be it for us tonight. So have a good rest of your day. I'll be back in like an hour. Dustin and Kate and I are actually coming back. We're not going to space. We're heading to Stardew Valley. We decided we're doing a chill night.
Yay!
So we're having a stay in and chill and do nice things. Staying in from space tonight. So yeah, if you want to come hang out for a chill time the rest of your evening, we'll be here in about an hour. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hope to see you soon for more games. Thanks, and heart your faces, and see you later all. Bye!